Welcome to the U.S. Department of Energy Solar Decathlon 2023 Design Challenge webinar. Today, we're going to be talking about into the final stretch of the competition. My name is Rachel Romero, and I am your competition manager. And today, I am joined with Taylor Ryan, your assistant competition manager. With that, we'll kick it off with Taylor. Go ahead.
Thanks, Rachel. So we wanted to start with an overview of where we are in the competition timeline. We just wrapped up a super exciting 2 days of competition during the semifinal event, and now look forward to the next deliverable due on April 4th, which is the final submission. Following that, teams have their 15-minute division presentation and 5-minute grand jury presentation slides due on April 18th. And then finally, we have the Solar Decathlon competition event, April 20th to 23rd. So for the final submission deliverable, teams should refer to the rules for detailed requirements, but generally this deliverable includes an updated project summary, a design narrative, 3 project images, a multimedia project pitch, and optional supplemental documentation. This deliverable will be reviewed by jurors, and in conjunction with your division presentation during the competition event will be used to select winning teams of the design challenge. Jurors here are looking for your understanding and application of building science, excellence in aligning a project design with competition intent, and excellence in the contest criteria subject areas. In terms of the different components of this deliverable, teams will first need to provide a final updated project summary. This again is a 2-page document that provides a concise overview of your project and conveys the most salient points of your design to jurors. Teams should focus on highlighting the unique elements of their project and balancing text and images to create an easy to read narrative for jurors. And keep in mind that an external audience will be reading the summary of your project. Following the conclusion of the competition, your project summary will be posted to the Solar Decathlon website. The most substantial part of the final submission deliverable is the design narrative. So this will be one PDF document that is up to 60 pages long that jurors will review before listening to your presentations during the competition event. Some best practices to bear in mind here are, again, to balance the use of text and images, follow formatting requirements in the rules so that jurors can seamlessly review your work, and also refer to previous design challenge teams' narratives as a roadmap for what a successful example of this deliverable looks like. This design narrative will really deliver the critical details of your projects to jurors, including design constraints and design goals, narratives for all of the Solar Decathlon contests that explain how you aligned your project to competition intent, and then an appendices section that includes detailed information like renderings, construction documentation, and analysis on energy performance. So think of the design narrative as the part of your deliverable where your team can showcase all the work that you have put into the competition. Moving on to the multimedia project pitch, these are 90-second videos that provide an opportunity for you to tell a story about your project. So teams are encouraged to think through what type of video would catch your attention if you were scrolling through social media, and make them fun and catchy while highlighting key elements of your project. These will also be showcased on the Solar Decathlon YouTube channel, where you can link to it and promote your team's video in the future. Another exciting component of the final submission are the project images, which includes an image of your team. So teams should first include 2 images that best represent your project, which could include renderings or photographs of scale models, and then at least 1 image of your team. And we encourage you to be creative with these images as well. So similar to the multimedia project pitch video, think through an image that really represents your team and is fun and catchy, as these will be promoted through Solar Decathlon media channels following the event as well. And then we have the supplemental documentation portion of the final submission, which is optional and should not exceed 100 pages in length. So refer to the rules again for detailed requirements on supplemental documentation, but this could include additional information about your project that you want to convey to jurors, including details around energy analysis, financial analysis, equipment specifications, or any other details that help to convey your team's design goals. It is worth mentioning that jurors are not required to review this, but it can demonstrate your team's thorough work and attention to detail, and you can reference your supplemental documentation throughout your design narrative, but any essential information should be prioritized in that design narrative component of the deliverable. And finally, on to presentation slides. So please remember for the 15-minute division presentation slides and the 5-minute grand jury presentation slides, there is a different due date for these. So the final submission deliverable again is due on April 4th. And then the division presentation slides and grand jury presentation slides are due on April 18th. And those will be submitted via a box submission link. So you will not submit those on the project site, but that box submission link is currently available to teams at the top of the homepage on that project site submission form. For your division presentation slides, please remember that these correspond to a 15-minute presentation to jurors during the competition event. So make sure you are using clean and clear imagery to emphasize the key points of your project, and make sure that any text you have on those slides is actually legible to jurors. And we encourage teams to create these slides with the guiding question of how you would sell your project to jurors and really make it stand out in the competition. And finally, we encourage you to practice. 15 minutes might seem like a long time, but it can fly by in trying to convey all the important parts of your project to jurors. Then for the grand jury slides, these will be a little different from the division presentation slides. They correspond to a 5-minute presentation that would be given to jurors if your team is selected as a winner within your division. And it's worth mentioning here that grand jurors will not be required to review your other project materials ahead of your grand jury presentation. So please create these slides with the same guiding question as before of what would make your project stand out in the competition, but also to bear in mind that the audience knows nothing about your design before this point. Again, the grand jury presentation slides are due by April 18th at 5 o'clock Eastern time. And as always, we have resources available on the project site to support the creation of this final submission deliverable. That includes a design narrative template that your team can adapt for your own use. Similar to other deliverable templates, this is not required for you to use, but your team can optionally use it if you find it to be a helpful guide around the structure of this deliverable. Also available under the quick links are examples from past design challenge competitions. So as we have had at different points in this competition, we have example project summary documents from winners of the 2022 design challenge, as well as example design narratives of the 2 grand winners from last year as well. And then moving on to some feedback from jurors from the semifinal submission. There were some main themes that we wanted to convey to students that the jurors had mentioned in their written comments that were available on the project site. So one of the first themes we saw from semifinal jurors is to encourage students to incorporate resilience strategies into your project and think through what resilience means in your local climate and local target market. Another theme from jurors was to adhere to requirements for units that are outlined in the rules. So please refer to the rules for those detailed requirements, but all units should be conveyed in United States customary system units and US dollars. Another theme from the jurors was to consider how your selected technologies and estimated costs relate to your target market. So conveying to the jurors how the technologies you selected impact the costs on your project and how your target market might be impacted then by those estimated costs. And then many of the jurors mentioned that students are encouraged to continue work on energy modeling to inform your design. So please take the next 6 weeks to continue that energy modeling activity and narrowing down the energy performance of your building. And finally, students are encouraged to practice their presentation. One of the comments we received from jurors is to consider how many slides you're including in a presentation in a short period of time. So consider this as you create your 15-minute division presentation and 5-minute grand jury presentation slides as well, and making sure that the details you include on those slides, again, are legible to jurors and that you're balancing the use of text and images on those slides. With that, I will hand it back to Rachel to close out the webinar.
Great, thanks, Taylor. Now we'll look at exhibition teams. So for teams that are not finalists, we still invite you to participate and complete your final project. So all teams that finish the final deliverables, and this includes that design narrative that Taylor discussed, are invited to showcase their design at the competition event and have one faculty and one student attend. This gives you an opportunity to visit and tour the world-class research facilities, meet many industry experts, and also connect with peers that have successfully completed their project and are presenting to jurors, as well as peers for faculty. So all teams who do complete the final deliverables are invited, and we hope to see you at the competition event. For the final competition, again, the dates are April 20th through 23rd. We expect design challenge teams to arrive no later than the 22nd for your presentation, but most design challenge teams will be attending on Friday, April 21st, but you're welcome to attend on the 20th to see build challenge presentations that will also be going on, and see the agenda on the project site for more information about that. This will be a hybrid event, so if you are virtual, we will have an opportunity to present virtually as well as participate and see other presentations. So for this event, we are going to be selecting winners. So teams will present to the jurors for winner selection. You'll have an opportunity to receive really valuable feedback, especially during your Q&A and again through the project site, and connect with those peers and industry leaders. So we have many amazing jurors coming from all over the world. We have a lot of schools coming, so it should be a great event. All right. So the project submissions will be evaluated in the following way, and it's good to know about this so you understand how the jurors are looking at your project. So you can read all of this in the rules, so take a look again at the rules one more time before you submit. Again, they're looking for that understanding and application of building science. So does your project convey that you learned the building science? They're looking for you to for your design to have aligned with the competition intent, and they're looking for excellence in all the criteria for all 10 contests. So if you miss something there, they'll notice that. And notice for the evaluation scale that meeting expectations is just 3 points, where eclipsing expectations and really going above and beyond is 5 points. So that's the scale that they're going to be using for this evaluation. So we wanted to just give visually give an example of how the competition is going to go, so students and teams understand this. So the teams will submit on April 4th, at which time the jurors will commence their initial evaluation period, where they will do some of this preliminary scoring. They will read through your design narrative and interact with it, get to know your team through your multimedia pitch, look at your project summary, and start to spend some time with that. Then they're going to come to the competition event just like you all are, and they're going to watch your amazing division presentations, and they'll be watching 10 presentations in each division. From there, they're going to do deliberations. They're going to sit down and think about which team really exhibits all the qualities that both Taylor and I have talked about and have met the requirements of the competition. From those deliberations, they're going to then select first, second, and third place in each of their divisions. And each of those first place teams then will be asked to give that grand juror presentation, which all of you are asked to prepare for. So prepare to be a winner. Then those first place teams will give a 5-minute presentation in front of the entire audience of the Solar Decathlon on Sunday, at which point our grand jurors will then select a residential grand winner and a commercial grand winner. And so we are going to advance to that, and our residential and commercial grand winners will be selected on stage. So with that, again, these dates are so important. Please make sure you turn in on time, or as recommended by the organizers, early. It never hurts to submit early. There are often challenges with bandwidth and other items. You're submitting big documentation and a lot of it. So please account for plenty of time to get those deliverables in. So the final submission, again, April 4th by 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And then on April 18th, both the 15-minute division presentation and the 5-minute grand jury presentation slides are due by 5 p.m. Slides will not be accepted at the competition event. Our next office hours will be March 28th at 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, so that you can ask questions. Please come with your questions. Taylor and I are very excited to answer those. So with that, we are so excited to see who will be the grand winners of our residential and commercial projects. We are so excited, and we know that this could be you. So with that, please share your progress on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. We have photos on Flickr that you can see, and also on LinkedIn now using the hashtag Solar Decathlon Design. We could not do this competition without our amazing sponsors. Special thank you to our steward sponsor, Allegiance, who is so excited to meet the students and the teams and to see your work and see it advance through the competition, along with our supporting and contributing sponsors who make this event possible. Thank you all. Please let us know if you have any questions at sddesign@nrel.gov, and we'd be happy to answer them. And we look forward to seeing you at the next office hours.